Am I the asshole for dropping out as my brother's best man a couple days before his wedding? My 36 brother, 30, got married this past weekend. I was supposed to be his best man. The wedding was 12 plus because they didn't want to have to deal with toddlers and such, which is fair enough. A lot of guests do have young kids though, so they decided to have a venue nearby with a professional sitter if parents wanted to drop kids off there. My wife has some injuries that make her slow to respond/understand what others are saying, and she needs help sometimes with her food. I'll cut it up into small pieces. This doesn't mean she's nothing and she's a smart, capable woman. They had the rehearsal dinner. At the end, my sil pulled me aside saying she had to discuss something with me. She said they told us about the additional venue they'll be having for their wedding. I said yes. Then she asked if my wife had any particular food preferences, and they would order extra food for her there. I was extremely confused and told her we already gave our meal choices, but she said my wife would be better suited at the second venue. I remembered just sort of staring at her for a bit and asking if she was serious, that she expected my wife to be with the babysitter. Sil said it's not like that and they're just looking out for my wife, and I don't have to feed her or anything and can have fun at the wedding. My brother came over and I told him I've literally never heard such shit, that they think my wife is a child to left with a sitter. Brother said it's for the best and if I want I can always go over and check on her. I told him if this is the way they're treating my wife, I have no desire to be part of their shit show and dropped out as best man. Well, all hell broke loose and some people agreed I was right, but my parents texted, called, everything saying they don't agree with this either but it's their choice, and to get over my ego and come. I didn't end up going. How she treated me compared to my brother growing up? Ever since I, 25F, could remember my mom has always showed favoritism to my brother, 21M, and treated us differently. She basically babied the shit out of him all my life. She'd do everything for him, cook, clean up after him, whatever he wanted she'd get for him etc. If my brother and I got into a fight she'd almost always take his side over mine. If my brother did something wrong she'd always drag me into the situation and discipline me too for whatever reason. If I got so angry with my brother, because growing up he was a little shit, and I started yelling at him she'd get mad at me for yelling at him and not the action he did to make me upset. If my brother asked me something and I said no, she'd get mad at me for saying no. When I was 18 she started charging me rent. My brother is 21 and lives with her rent-free. When I was 18 I started working at my dad's business. Parents are divorced, and ever since then the treatment from my mom got worse. She was always short with me, made passive-aggressive comments all the time to me and just clearly didn't want to see me succeed. When I was 20 I moved out of my mom's and went to stay with my dad, which extremely offended her and the relationship was never the same. We had very LC. Fast forward to today, I pretty much run my dad's business. Dad is semi-retired and travels between my country and his home country every month. I make good money here at the business, own my own condo, have a new car I paid for myself, and I'm just overall doing good. Ever since I can remember my mom has had financial issues. She's always lived check to check and can't save money. The past few months my mom's been contacting me more. Last week she asked if we can have a serious conversation. She explained to me that she can see that I'm doing well for myself and she needs money. She in a lot of debt and possibly could lose her house. She said she asked my dad for money, and he refused. I asked her why she doesn't ask her husband. She's remarried, but they don't live together because she refuses to let him move in. Whole other story. She started going off on me saying that's her business and she's asking me, not him. I said no, you treat my like a boss growing up, barely contact me and now you want me to give you money? She said after all the things she did for me growing up this is the least I could do for her. She's been telling my other family members how I said no and they've been up my ass messaging and calling me saying it's the right thing to do, and to have come compassion. Even my brother has been telling me how that's so cold that I refuse to help her, because financially I'm in a good place. I feel like shit because my mom could possibly lose her house, but I feel like that's not my responsibility and I'm being taken advantage of if I say yes. AITA? Reply 1. When your family texts you say, you have given a lot to think about. Thank you for reaching out and giving my mom money. She'll be so happy to hear about your support. When they freak out, say, wait, you are not giving my mom money? Then why are you reaching out? It's a bit weird to tell someone to give money to family when you are not giving money to family. Regardless, there's no need to worry. I totally get no one is entitled to your money. Thank you for understanding. Reply 2. NTA. I can't stand parents who play favorites. My late grandma, mom's side, did the same thing to me and my mom. You don't owe your mom a thing. If she needs financial support, she can go to her golden child. Where was that compassion your way growing up? If these family members are so compassionate, what's stopping them from helping your mom? Why do you have to help the one who made your childhood a living hell? Don't feel like shit op, she brought this on herself. I like to call it karma. It isn't your responsibility. And I without a shred of doubt know she would have taken advantage of you if you said yes. Am I the asshole for making homemade food for everyone except my brother's stepdaughter? I, 27F, am not a professional chef, but I have taken a bunch of cooking classes and love making elaborate meals for friends and family. About 2 years ago my brother, Greg, 25M, married Cheryl, 34F. Cheryl has a daughter from a previous relationship, Becca, 9F, who has several health conditions, including celiac and a severe dairy allergy that requires her to carry an EpiPen. Last weekend I hosted a dinner at my house for my parents' wedding anniversary. I made a fancy 5-course dinner, and in addition to my parents, I invited 4 close family friends, Greg, Cheryl, and Becca, and my sister, her boyfriend and their twins, both 8M. Because of Becca's food restrictions, I found a restaurant in town that specializes in gluten-free, dairy-free, as well as other allergen-free food, and arranged for them to make a full meal for Becca that I could pick up in advance of the party. I have made a variety of specialty meals in the past, for example, keto meals when my friend was following that diet, and I liked the challenge, but knowing how serious Becca's restrictions were, I didn't trust myself to make her meal. I have ADHD and get easily distracted, and if I even used the wrong spoon or didn't completely wash some flour off a bowl, it could make her incredibly sick. I thought the takeout solution was fine, but when I served the food, I saw Cheryl looking at Becca's plate with a stony face. For her part, Becca started eating and seemed fine. Cheryl whispered to Greg, and Greg asked if he could talk to me in the kitchen. When we got there he said that it was unbelievable that I couldn't be bothered to make something for Becca, that they'd been bragging about what a great cook I am to her, and that he knew I'd made keto, vegan, and other complicated kinds of food in the past. Now she would feel left out because she didn't get to eat what the rest of the family was eating. He said that it was obvious that I didn't care about making his stepdaughter feel like a part of the family, and that they were leaving. Greg, Cheryl and Becca then left, which put a damper on the rest of the party. I felt like I did my best at the time, but in hindsight, I wonder if I should have tried harder to make Becca feel included since she is a relatively new addition to our family. AITA? Reply 1. For some reason, I read that and felt sad for you. I'm honestly in disbelief you thought you did something wrong. You were incredibly thoughtful in how you handled ensuring she had a meal suitable for her. You have ADHD and are well aware that mistakes are so easily made, so to ensure you didn't seriously put this child's health in danger, you decided the safest option was to contact a restaurant to provide something. I can't stress this enough, you are NTA. Reply 2. I agree with this. I have 2 children with food allergies, though not nearly as severe as celiac. I never expect other people to accommodate them when we eat somewhere else, though I always appreciate when they do. By age 9, they're 12 now, both of my daughters understood that sometimes, they just can't eat whatever is on the table. You went out of your way to find a restaurant that could make something for her, something you didn't feel like you could do, and made sure she had something to eat. You didn't mention it, but you cooked a lot of food, which can be so stressful no matter how much you enjoy cooking. I can't imagine cooking an additional, separate meal on top of that. The chaos in the kitchen alone, at least in my kitchen, would make the risk of cross-contamination so very high. You are most definitely NTA.